Hello and welcome to the third installment of this tutorial series. In this series we are creating a top-down shooter, just very basic things so you can kind of get into the introduction of how to make a game. So the first two videos we did movement, and then we added these things in here to add in wall collision, and this is going to be part 3 where we're going to be creating a bullet and allowing our player to shoot. Alright, so first thing we want to do is create a sprite. Now, you can kind of change these settings to whatever you want, but I'm going to make mine, let's say 5 by 5. Sure. That seems fine. And I'm just going to make it a small yellow circle. As always, name it something appropriate. S bullet is what I will name it. Apologies for the background noise if that comes through. Collision mask, it's tiny enough that you don't really have to do anything to it, so I'm just going to leave it as is. And let's create it into an object. And of course, name it something appropriate. Okay. So now we have our bullet object. We need to go into our player, and we want to say anytime that you click, a bullet will be created. So we're going to learn some new functions here. Similar to keyboard check, we're going to do if mouse underscore, and you can see all the functions here. And I highly recommend for you to just kind of, if you see one that looks like it might be interesting, oh, you can mess with the mouse wheel. You can click that, press F1, or click it with your mouse wheel, and that'll open up the manual for Gamemaker, and it'll teach you about that function and how to use it and what it does. And that's amazing. It's awesome. Okay, use it. For now, we're going to be using press. Let's see here, mouse check button pressed. We can do this two different ways here. I'm just gonna show you the mouse button check button pressed first, and I'll show you the other way after we get this all set up here. It's a very simple difference, but it's also important for game design. So we want to check if we're pressing the button mouse button underscore left. So if we are left clicking, then we should instance create, oops, and you can use either layer or depth here. If you're following along with me, I would say let's just stick with layer for now, and let's not get too deep into what layers are, but layers are essentially in your room. You have instances. If you want the walls to appear in front of or behind the player, then you can put those on a different layer, and then they kind of show up in a specific order, and certain objects are shown in front of other objects. Even if things are on different layers, they can still interact with each other. So right here, all I'm going to type is layer, comma. So we're creating it at the player, we're creating a bullet at the player position X and Y on the same layer, and we're going to create the object OBullet. And that's pretty dang cool. So let's see what that looks like. Every time you click, you should be creating a bullet. And it does seem we are, but my mouse is kind of funky and it doesn't really work every time for some reason. But those are bullets, and let's make them move. So let's go into our bullet object, and let's say when you're created, we want to set a direction and speed. So let's say direction equals, not sure if I've taught you this one yet or not, point direction, open close, and within there, let's double click this so you can see the arguments that it requires down here. Within the parentheses, we want the direction to be from its creation point, so x comma y, and we want it to move towards the mouse. So mouse underscore x comma mouse, mouse underscore y. And now it would show the exact same thing because we haven't set a speed yet. So let's say the speed equals 10. That seems fine. You might want to make your bullet faster or slower, but just for now, we're going to say 10. And it does look like we are shooting. We can even move and shoot if my mouse wasn't so bad at... There we go. We can shoot while moving. And that is shooting. I would like to let you know that the game does have to keep track of every single bullet you fire. And if the bullet is outside of the room, the game doesn't necessarily need to keep track of it. So let's go ahead and say if the bullet is outside the room, which you can find in events, add event, other, outside room. So if your bullet somehow finds itself outside of the level, we can just say instance destroy, open close. You can put self, or you can put ID to refer specifically just to this object and not necessarily all bullets. But it by default does do that. It doesn't necessarily need any arguments here. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to do anything there. It already by default refers to only the bullet that does find itself outside of the room. So your game will run a little smoother without having to track so many bullets, because the bullets will automatically just become erased once they are outside of the area of play. The other thing here is we don't necessarily want our bullets to go through walls. So we're going to say when you collide with a wall as a bullet, when a bullet collides with a wall, so when a bullet collides with a wall, we just added that to the events. We are also just going to put instance destroy. And as I said, you don't need to necessarily put anything there. And now we should see that the bullet does not go through walls anymore. And that is exactly what we are looking for. So that's how to create your bullets. Next, we're going to be looking into enemies, and I'm not sure if we're going to divvy that up into multiple episodes or if we're going to try to put it all into one. But at the moment, enemies do their AI, and depending on what you want to do with them, they can take a lot of time. We're going to, again, be keeping it as basic as possible for the beginners. One thing I said I was going to show you here was one big difference. If you take away the pressed and the underscore here, you will be checking every frame. You will be executing this code every frame, and not specifically only when it's pressed. And you can see the difference pretty quickly and easily here. Yeah, that's quite a bit different. You can slow this down through a couple of methods. If you're interested in learning about that, let me know. For now, we're just going to keep it as pressed. So that way it only creates when you actually press the clicking button. All right, so next video we're going to do enemies. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, if you got any interest in implementing certain mechanics or anything like that, please leave it in the comments below. Any comments really help out the channel. And honestly, the whole reason I'm doing this is so I can help people learn, and the more I can do that, the better. So yeah. Also, if you're an artist, I am working on other projects. That there are videos for other projects that I'm currently working on that aren't tutorials. Uh, if you're interested in being an artist for one of my games, please let me know, and we can talk about revenue share and all that stuff. Thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, bye.